buddy? What's up to Lion Talk Live? We love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Hey, Lions Talk Live Morning Show edition, and hey, we've got a little bit of news. As you all know, yesterday Mcdc at his presser said a whole lot of things about a whole lot of different topics. Now, on top of that, ending up OTAs, he got a bunch of reporters from across the NFL, let alone the Detroit Lions coverage units, talking about things they see and players that are breaking on out, or at least we should probably say raising the expectations we have for different positions. As you can tell for today's thumbnail, you know, we might have a just real good situation developing for the Detroit Lions with a couple key positions, including the secondary. Last year, the secondary, I think most of us would agree, you know, you got through the safeties for the Detroit Lions, safeties, all world, all pros. Hey, there wasn't a better tandem in the entire NFL than what we had with Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph. You know, you looked at the starting cornerbacks for the Detroit Lions, pretty good. Obviously, I think we'd all agree Terrion Arnold had some rookie moments here and there. But now, this season, there was a lot of expectations. What's going to happen with, say, Avion Maddox? What's going to happen with DJ Reed? How about Enos Rakestraw? And you know what? MCDC said a whole lot. And again, going based on what you saw in OTAs, we might just end up having a true camp battle for a whole lot of good talent on this team at the cornerback position. And we might have the deepest secondary in the NFL. We're going to dive into that. Some other players that really have some great opportunities coming in front of them going into it this year. So we'll take a gander at that during the main topic of the day. All right, real quick, before we get into the main topic today, before we get into the 5 headlines now, you guys probably all know that just by now. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Making that march for 13,800 subs, and we are 10 subs away. So if you can help out with that, I would surely be thankful. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that all the buttons, hit the subscribe buttons, hit the buttons for the buttons on the buttons. Because if we can get 10 more subscribers, then we'll hit our goal of 13,800 and then be marching on up for 14,000. All right, on top of that, we mentioned it briefly just a second ago, but if you could hit the like button, it helps everybody out on YouTube exponentially. Every time you get a like or interaction, it helps the channel get pushed out in the YouTube, Google algorithms to more people who haven't discovered your channel. We try to get every episode of the show between 2, 3, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. So if you can take half second of time, it doesn't cost a dime. Reach on down, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button. All right, last but never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You now see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. If you're looking to have a quick conversation about what it can do, save you some time, save you some hassle, save you some stress, save you some money. Who doesn't like that? Go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy working with people, helping people out. I've got to list a property for a YouTuber, or excuse me, a Lions Talk Live viewer, a Duke crewer, later today. So he got me the information yesterday, so it'll be going on up today. So, all right, all that done, set out of the way. Let's get this show rocking and rolling and going and get into the first topic, which, as you guys probably know by now, it is 5 headlines now. I could have probably went with 15 headlines now, but I didn't want to do a 4-hour show. But anyway, let's get into it. Dan Campbell already singing the praises for 2 underrated Lions additions. The New York Times story by Nick Haldern. You know, he sung a lot of praises, kind of cautiously optimistic, real coach speak, I guess you could say. So you got to take some of the stuff he says on everything with a grain of salt because a lot of it is coach speak. So let's dive into this one, though, see what Big Nick had to say about it. Singing the praises of Gibbs and, hey, how about Jameson Williams? Campbell wanted to really tone it down because he understood that both Jahmyr Gibbs and then Jameson Williams, they've just been killing it in camp. They've been killing it in OTAs, and the expectations for both of these guys hitting some real pivotal moments in their careers coming up here. We all know the story. Jameson Williams, he's been trending up these last couple of years. He's just, the team picked up the 5th-year option on him. He's basically playing this season, not to just show that he has evolved as a player, but also that he is worthy a second contract. And yes, if he has anywhere near the kind of season most of us are anticipating, then you know what? The Lions are going to have a tough choice here because you're going to have to pay him, and he is going to probably end up getting paid more than Amon-Ra St. Brown. And that's no disrespect to St. Brown. It's just Jameson Williams is the next guy up on the ladder to get paid. You're usually getting the bigger contract. The other one, like I said, Gibbs is, without a question, last year when Montgomery went down, if there was any kind of question from anyone in the national media, YouTube media, Detroit Lions fandom about how good he is, it was probably silence. And you know what? It looks like he's gotten even better since last year when he had those breakout month or whatever it was that he was just basically the sole running back for the Lions, or at least getting the vast majority of the snaps. Both of these guys have got big radars on them nationally. For those who do, what do you want to call it, fantasy football, you're probably going to want to draft these guys because you know what? All early reports, they're just showing great things for these two guys. Dan Campbell both sung their praises and then try to pump the brakes on it. We'll dive into that a little bit more, I'm sure, as the offseason continues to move forward. And let's not forget, next month starts training camp. Next month also is the Hall of Fame game. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Lions rookie wide receiver could get huge opportunity with Amon-Ra St. Brown injury news. Fan side story by Joseph Grasserino with this one. There's hype about so many different players on this team, not just the guys that are hitting, second, third year, fourth year, etc., that are kind of going into their primes, but the rookie class too is showing out. We're going to be talking about that a whole lot, not just in this show, but going forward, just because, let's just stick to this topic, I guess, for now, because I could ramble on forever. But Isaac TeSlaa, he's got an opportunity, as this report indicates. News came out yesterday, or at least we could probably say in the last 48 hours, that Amon-Ra St. Brown had some cleanup surgery done to his knee after the season finished last year. He's not really expected to miss training camp or anything in the regular season, stuff like that. Lions have been very limiting with him during the offseason just to give that knee every opportunity to heal on up, be right as rain, etc., etc. But what does this also mean? Well, it means not just Isaac TeSlaa, but other people, I guess we'd say, in the wide receiver core during OTAs and potentially at times during training camp might get more reps because the team is giving St. Brown a little bit more time to heal up. And we get it. He's had some injuries here and there. Nothing that's really limited him, I guess you could say, in the season or whatever. It hasn't been any kind of real debilitating injuries, but the team is trying to do right by him. St. Brown entering his 5th year. Can you believe that, man? It's already his 5th year in the league. Anyway, TeSlaa, he's expected to get some extra workload with St. Brown down. Now, what does that mean from a coaching standpoint? You're giving this kid more reps, a better opportunity to kind of grow, develop. Just, it may not seem like a big thing to most of us, but if you get an extra, say, 5% of the reps every day in training camp or OTAs, you know what? That accumulation over time just helps him to grow up. And he won't be the only one that's getting extra reps, but the fact that he's getting it, let's be fair. When this kid was drafted, a lot of Lions fans weren't happy. I get a number of you guys said, man, there were people in the YouTube community throwing chairs, talking poorly about the Lions, whatever you want to say. But now that we all have taken a deep breath, we've looked at the opportunity that is Isaac TeSlaa. I think we all get it. If this kid really does develop, he could be a big weapon for the Lions. I've given you guys my expectations for his rookie year. I think you get halfway through the season, and then he'll have a real good opportunity to start impacting the team. If you go back and look, just the Detroit Lions, not all the other NFL teams out there, but most rookie receivers do take some time to develop. Kelvin Johnson didn't do a ton his rookie year. Neither did Herman Moore, and you could go on to a gajillion other Lions wide receivers that fit that mold. He may be the exception because he does have potentially two number one wide receivers on the field with him, with both Jameson Williams and St. Brown. And then you look at Sam Laporte and everything else. I mean, it's just going to be tough to double team or guard effectively everybody out there. Tesla, we'll see what shakes out. All right, don't expect, next to the 5 headlines out, Lions don't expect to have linebacker Malcolm Rodriguez back for a long time. Sporting News, story by Mike Masala. So here's what we can say. There was hope. I guess maybe that's not a great way to word it, but the expectations prior to yesterday was that Malcolm Rodriguez might be back, say, October-ish. It doesn't sound like that's what's going to shake out. Rodrigo, whatever you want to say, I think he is a fan favorite. That's probably fair for most of us to agree upon when it comes to the Detroit Lions linebacker. But he tore his ACL. When he's going to return, it seems like a bigger question mark than any of us would have originally guessed. Now, Dan Campbell yesterday was non-committal on a time frame for his return. Just simply said, he doesn't know, maybe November, whatever you want to say. But it clearly, just reading the body language of Dan Campbell, I think he's a little disappointed that he's not going to be more available or available sooner in the season. And I don't think he takes that disappointment as, hey, it's something Rodrigo isn't doing. It's just an ACL. There's just such a wide range for everybody's bodies who suffers that horrible injury when they can return. I've shared with you guys before, in the 30-plus years I've coached, I've seen one player come back in less than 4 months. Shake that in your head for a second. I've seen a player come back from an ACL tear, complete tear, had it repaired, and then back on the playing field in 4 months. I've seen other people take over a year. It's just so many different degrees into what allows somebody to get back. You can't just say, hey, it's, they're going to power through it and hit the weights or whatever and speed up the recovery. The body does what the body does, and not everybody heals at the same pace. Unfortunately for Lions fans and the team, that it does seem like Rodrigo is healing a little bit slower than maybe originally anticipated. And when he's back, I guess we're all just going to have to play the waiting game and see. I hope he's back sooner versus later. I think everybody agrees he's great against the run. He can fly around. He's got a lot of big upside. And you know what? I hope he gets a second contract personally from the Detroit Lions because I do think he's very versatile. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Dan Campbell identifies 2 Lions playmakers as offseason standout. Story by Nick Hayden. Anyway, like I said, Campbell identified a lot of different people. Campbell talked positively about a lot of different people. You can go on and on about Jameson Williams. You can go on about Gibbs. He also talked about the offensive line. And, we've all had our thoughts, and it's unfortunate that Frank Ragnow retired. Yes, I get it. He talked about that, identified that. I get it. Frank Ragnow, he gave everything for this team. At the end of the day, it sounds like the body just told him, no mas, and I get it. But when talking about the players who are still here, Campbell went on and talked about all sorts of things with the offensive line. You can see his body structure change when talking about it. And I get some of that's out of respect for Frank Ragnow. Some of it is, I think Campbell liked what he was seeing out there. He brought up Giovanni Manu. He mentioned how Manu was getting, some reps out there at tackle and a little bit at guard. And that Dan Skipper were manning the tackle spots a whole lot. Now, do I think there's a camp battle before Giovanni Manu and Dan Skipper to get one of those backup spots? I do. I don't know if they're both going to be on the team, but we'll save that for another show. Then he talked about Ratledge getting a ton of snaps at center. Is this further corroboration that maybe Ratledge was the one drafted the ideal replacement for Frank Ragnow? Should Ragnow retire? Dan Campbell did talk about, the team's been aware of Ragnow's situation for some time, but out of respect, giving him nothing but time to come to his own conclusions. It does sound like the Lions are pretty happy. And again, going by what Dan Campbell has to say with the current situation they have. I think we're going to have to watch this throughout training camp when we get to the preseason games and all that kind of stuff, because I think the Lions have some real good options here. You're never going to replace a Frank Ragnow, so I don't want to come out and say, hey, this guy's going to be just as good. That's not the case. But you obviously have to move forward. You can't live in, ho-hum, oh, man, we lost Frank, now it's all over. You got to find a way to go forward. And just going by what Dan Campbell is saying, and it wasn't just Manu, it wasn't the skipper. And to be fair, it was more than just 2 people, according to this headline. It was a culmination of everybody they put on the field for the Detroit Lions offensive line. I think there's some real good prospects here. I think we all might be under now selling the offensive line because of Ragnow's retirement, it might just be one of the better units out there. And again, it's training camp. Campbell talked about it with all the guys he kind of talked about. They're out there in pajamas. They're not out there in pads. Things are going to look much different once you get to training camp. But I know I've been mentioning it to the Duke Crew. I think with Ragnow's retirement, while it's going to hurt in some ways, it will improve us in some ways. And I think with Decker potentially, maybe on his final year or two, you're also going to see an ascension in some ways in that regard. Kevin Zeitler was phenomenal, great. Hey, I think he's a all-world, and I mentioned that all last season. I think he was one of the top 2 or 3 right guards in the NFL last year. But that doesn't mean the next guy isn't going to be something. Campbell talked about it a lot, and what I think we're all seeing with our eyes when we look at OTAs and stuff, the Lions' offensive line might have just got a whole lot bigger and more athletic. Now, what do they need? They need reps and experience. All right, last of the 5 glorious headlines now. Observations, Detroit Lions OTA standouts, SIS.com by John Macron. Not going to spend a ton of time on this because I feel like we've already talked about it with a lot of it. But Macron, you guys all know it. This is what he does for a living. He covers the Detroit Lions. Nothing but spends all the time watching him. He talks a ton about Jameson Williams, how he stood out. Tight end Sam Laporta said he looked very fluid again, like he did his rookie year, late last year, when the knee kind of healed up. Gibbs, we've already talked about it. You mentioned him, and there's a couple other things we'll talk about during the main topic today. Gave an update on Tyleik Williams. They're still being cautious with Tyleik Williams. If you guys don't know, during his pro day, he kind of injured a hamstring. The team's still allowing him to kind of fully heal. They don't want to play around with it. They don't want to get him out on the field too soon. I think they're trying to save him basically for training camp, and then he's had whatever it is, like 5 months for that thing to heal up. I think he's going to be all right. But Tyleik hasn't practiced. He's done a little bit of walkthrough, certainly been in the classroom, Campbell said. Quote, I mentioned this last week, and nothing's changed. These rookies, we're trying to get them right before they get out there for the summer, and we'll bring them back, end quote from Campbell. So we get it, especially with Williams and the hamstring. They're trying to be respectful. So they're putting him through all sorts of different situations, coaching him up without risking aggravating that hamstring. I did just mention this in one of the other 5 headlines now, but Macron does talk about the early look at offensive line depth. Ragnow's retirement has offered an opportunity for other people to emerge. Let's see. Tackles Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker, along with guard Graham Glasgow, were out of action. This is because they are veterans. Campbell, as you guys all know, throughout his tenure here, he's tried to give veterans, especially people that start getting up there a little bit more in the years, to more time off, allow the bodies to be as right as rain. As in regards to rookie, Tate Ratledge continues to get reps with the first-team offense at center. Flanking him were left guard Christian Mahogany, right guard, okay, I'm just going to say Yodi because I always killed otherwise. Giovanni Manu played left tackle, and Dan Skipper right tackle. We heard this in other stories as well. Word was, like we've heard now for, 2-3 weeks, Manu's played very well. And the fact that they're letting him play the left tackle, Dan Skipper, remember, filled in last year for Taylor Decker a couple games when he was a little beat up. Dan Skipper went to right tackle. I think that's a big sign just how much the Lions coaching staff thinks Giovanni Manu is improving. There was some debate with Mahogany play left or right guard. It seems like the Lions are trying to center him or cement him in at left guard. Yodi, hey, right guard. Let's see if that holds out throughout camp. But either way, I think we all get it. Lions are kind of telling us where they're leaning, at least so far. A lot can change still before the regular season. But at this point, I would say the center spot is either going to come down to Graham Glasgow or Tate Ratledge. Maybe somebody else emerges, beats them out, but I'd say right now that's probably what you're looking at. Attendance, the Lions had a ton of Lions were once again operating without several starters on Thursday. Let's see, among the players that were out were David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sewell, Glasgow, Decker, Williams, Alex Anzalone, Terrion Arnold, Aleem McNeil, Levi Onwuzurike, DJ Reader, Josh Pascal, and Broderick Martin. And man, Broderick Martin shouldn't be missing any time. That kid needs every rep he can get to try to salvage himself, at least in my opinion. All right, we've gone way too long with the 5 headlines now. Let's get on over to the main topic of the day. we've been talking about things MCDC said and some of the information he's given us out camp throughout camp on different updates, etc. We talked about this during the opening monologue for a moment or two, but I think this is one of the biggest booms for this offseason for the Detroit Lions. Look at all the depth they brought into the cornerback spot. And I know we've been talking about, what about depth at safety? I think a lot of the depth at safety is going to come to the depth at cornerback, unless something unforeseen happens. Lawrence Strickland's probably going to make it. Maybe Dan Jackson makes it or whatever. But Lions head coach Dan Campbell gave a lot of praise for Vontae Maddox. He also talked about DJ Reader. He also talked about Enos Rakestraw. Rakestraw, if you guys watched the presser yesterday, Campbell talks about him for about a minute or so. Talks about how much he's developed. And you've heard a ton of other beat reporters with eyes on the field watching OTAs saying just how much Rakestraw has improved, how much better he looks this year than last year. And let's be fair, there were times before that abdominal injury, etc., really kind of emerged, and the hamstring injury. There he had a lot of reports when he was a rookie that he was doing quite well. And that's Rakestraw I'm talking about, by the way. But now he's made the second year. He's fully healthy from all reports now. You know what? Rakestraw's expectations are going through the roof, and multiple reporters tried to poke the, MCDC, get more information out of him. He wasn't biting and having it. I can't remember the reporter who asked, hey, what's going to happen with him? Who's he going to beat out? Is he going to start? Yada, yada. MCDC does what all coaches basically do, was non-committal, just say, hey, best guy's going to play, yada, yada. We'll have to wait and see. That's what coaches do, and I get that, man. So I don't want to read it one way or another way into it too much. But I think what we are facing here is the potential for the Lions to have the NFL's deepest secondary out there in regards to not just the safeties, but the corners. I think we all know the incumbents. Terrion Arnold more than likely is going to start at one cornerback spot. DJ Reed, hey, man, this guy can play. And it's probably unfortunate for Aaron Glenn that he's no longer a Jet, but it is what it is. His loss is clearly Detroit's gain. I think, is there going to be a difference between him and, in the lineup versus other players a year ago? Maybe, but that doesn't mean his strengths aren't strong. Doesn't mean he can't do things other guys didn't do, yada, yada. We'll dive into that more and more. And then Rakestraw, does he beat out Amik Robinson? I think that's going to be one of the bigger camp battles out there. And to be fair, they're all probably aware when they're on the field watching each other play, this dude can play, that dude can play. My starting spot maybe isn't cemented in stone. So I like the fact that, like we have with so many different positions, these guys got to come into camp and just play their butt off. When last year, or maybe let's go back 2 years ago, when the injuries would happen in our secondary, you could just tell our secondary was beat up, and it was vastly different every time a starter went down. If you remember Jerry Jacobs, I never thought he should have been a starting cornerback for the Detroit Lions. And I know a lot of fans threw mud at him when he did start because he would get torched. But also remember, he was supposed to be like one of the guys off the bench, one of the depth charts. But because of all the injuries, he had to start. And you know what? There's a reason why he should have came off the bench. At any rate, I don't know if his injuries will impact the secondary to nearly the extent it did 2 years ago. Last year, you could argue we had some pretty good depth. But this year, are you excited about this secondary? How good do you think this secondary can be? And we'll be talking about other positions throughout all training camp, the preseason games. But I think when you look at this cornerback room, let's start with Maddox for a second. This dude can play. This dude is not bad by any stretch of imagination. The fact that you were able to sign him and get him to agree to come to Detroit and just be, at least for now, a backup who can challenge to be a starter, I think that's a huge win for the Lions. DJ Reed, hey, he probably knew he's got a real good opportunity to come to the Lions and start. But does he start? Does Rakestraw or somebody else beat him out? Who do you think right now is your starting outside corners? Who's going to be the nickel? Do you take Brian Branch out of the nickel spot, which in last year he played the vast majority of it, because you want to just play him at safety? Who plays the Iffy Melifano role? Think about all the depth we have, and here's the other thing, the speed we have, the athleticism. While last year's group I really liked, I think this year's group is going to be better. Now, a scale of 1 to 10, how much better? I don't know. I'll leave that to you guys to debate. But let's get over to the Duke crew. I want to hear what you guys have to say about it, because I do think MCDC said a lot, both verbally and non-verbally, when talking about especially the cornerback room and all these camp battles. Rakestraw, again, he's, MCDC said a lot, for about a minute, maybe it was a little bit more than that, about Rakestraw. Gave him some praise, gave him some flowers. It did want to remind everybody, yes, this is OTAs. We don't have pads on. All right, we've got about 5 minutes until Kurt the Hitman Steele, Professor Steele, slides on in. So let's power through as many comments as we can before he gets on here. All right, let me scroll to the top of the screen. Michael D is throwing some numbers at us. I don't know if I should go play these in lottery. Let me know what you're doing here. Are you giving us the winning lottery combinations? JDC, morning all, and back at you. Michael, greetings, salutations, Coach and Duke Crew, exclamation point, one pride, strong football. Hey, who doesn't like strong Lions football? Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. This train is going all the way, exclamation point. Woo! And I like that thinking. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. I missed the show yesterday. Was out camping with the family for a few days. What news did you have for us today, Coach? Hey, I'm assuming you're all caught up at this point, but basically, MCDC talked about a lot of different positions, talked about the secondary for the Detroit Lions, and I think he's right. I think some of these guys will end up playing safety for Detroit just because of the type of packages we'll run and deploy. And think about some of these guys blitzing, getting after the quarterback, getting into the backfield, stopping the running back. Hey, speed kills, in my opinion. Gary, JDC, I see you, morning crew. I'll go with that. Just greetings, salutations. Anyone else have the feeling Campbell was holding back while talking about guys? Yes, I would agree with that, Jess. I think a lot of that is just what coaches do. They want to keep expectations down. I talk to you guys all the time. Me as a coach, whenever media asks me about our expectations, and this is for pros, college, or high school, when they ask us what was my thoughts for the season, man, I think we'll be lucky to win a game. Maybe we can swing one out at some point. That's just how I do it. And I think a lot of coaches kind of go that way. Marcus, good morning. Dan and Ducro, I heard Zadarius Smith will be resigning with the Lions soon on a one-year deal. Can you confirm if this is true, Coach Dan? I think they've had conversations, Marcus. I don't know if there's anything imminent in front of us. Maybe it happens. I mean, Brad Holmes has more or less come out and said, as we are aware, hey, we made an offer to Zadarius Smith. Now it's up to him if he wants to take it. Bo, I'll diddle that, Jess. I'm down with that. JDC, Kerry, morning at you, and back at you both. Hoogadoo. Bo, all aboard the last ship for this train to the Super Bowl. Oh, yeah. Let's get to that Super Bowl, man. Wouldn't that be something? Drake, Coach Dan, it sounds like you were right about Ratledge, okay, Manu, and a few others on the offensive line. Hey, every once in a while I get something right. I'll try not to let it go to my head, though. Let's see, JDC, morning, Motor City Duke Crew, and back at you. Jess, yeah, Bo, just the way I took what he was and was not saying. I got the view. MCDC really has been impressed. I did, too. I'll go with that. I think he's maybe the best way to put it is cautiously optimistic. He likes all the competition in camp. He likes what he's saying. We didn't even really talk about, a lot of reporters talking about the combination throughout OTAs between Goff and Jameson Williams. We've talked about Jameson Williams' ascension, but we haven't really talked about how much different reporters are saying. Man, you look at Goff finding Jameson Williams, it's clearly developed over the years. Trim Reaper, good morning, Coach, and starting the lineup. Woo! Exclamation points, and back at you. Brett, good morning, Dan and crew. Last train to Clarksville. Hey, we'll go with that. Hop on the train. Bobo, hope the weather treated you right, Trey. Yeah, because, man, I know I just got back yesterday, but it sounds like it's been raining here for, a week or so while I was gone. So I wasn't sad I was gone. Of course, it was raining in Florida, too, so, hey, you got that going for you. All right, 17, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Day off work, so heading to the gym after dropping the kids off. I'll be listening. Have a great day at the gym, my friend. Hopefully it's a good one. Johnny L., good morning, all. Same to you. Tori, I so need to get to the gym. More swimsuit season is here. It is, man, and I don't know if anybody wants to see me in a swimsuit. Trim River, Stephanie, when's the big dance? I want to say she said, was it August or July? Something like that. Yeah, let's see if she posts it. Johnny L., good morning, Stephanie. Back at you. Trim River, sun's out, buns out. Hey, there you go. Jessica, less than 2 months until the Hall of Fame game. Exclamation point. You are correct on that. Less than 2 months. Man, it's coming by quick, isn't it? Hookadoo. Morning, Brett DeWitt. Chugga, choo-choo. Hey, the train is going. Johnny L., you got to love that. You got to love the train. The train to the Super Bowl. Let's get on it. JDC, I am having such a tough time getting into my Speedos. Hey, well, we'll let you work on that. Trim Reaper. Toot, toot. There you go. The train is going. Brett, good morning, Hookadoo. France, 30 of us in here and 4 likes, question mark. Come on, folks. Take a second, hit those buttons. Yeah, I can't see any of that stuff from my side of the screen, so I'll trust you guys in it. If you have a moment, hit the like and subscribe. You guys, yada, yada. You know, JDC, Dre Force rocks, and he rolls. Brett, France, thumbs up. Gary, I agree. Bo, oh yeah, thumbs up. Sosimo, good morning, Duke Crew, and same to you. Trim Reaper, looks like I chose the wrong week to stop taking amphetamines. There you go. Yes, airplane reference there. Brent laughing. Surely you just, says Bo. Quitting. Greetings and salutations. Look, we're going to be great, not good this year. Bet on that. I think I get with their schedule, everything else, you know, Ragnar's retirement, people now maybe pulling back on the Lions. But to your point, Quentin, I think we might catch some people off guard how deep this team could be. Now, it doesn't matter what they all think. The players got to go out and do it. The coaches got to go out and do it. So we'll wait and see. Trim Reaper, don't call me Shirley. Laughing out loud. Hookadoo. JDC, have you tried jumping from the roof into them? Oh, that's one way to handle it. Five Fingers Freddy. Good morning, Duke Crew and Coach Dan. Same at you. Steve, what did MCDC say? And now you know. And knowing is half the battle. Henry Moore, good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. What a team. What a podcast. Exclamation point. What a time. Be a Lions fan. Woo! And thank you. And good to see you as always, Henry. Phil, morning and morning, Phil. JDC, Hookadoo, I did try once or twice, missed both times. All right. Hey, we'll work on the accuracy. Trim Reaper, MCDC says next guy up 100% there. That's good coach talk right there. Black J.R. Jones, Duke Crew, top of the morning, one pride. Woo! And same to you. Good to see you, my friend. Chuck, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. And same to you. Hopefully you are having a phenomenal morning. Hookadoo, Henry Moore, you got it all in today. All right, glad to hear. Non-laughers, good morning, day of the Duke Crew starters. And hey, always glad to see the Duke Crew starting lineup. Johnny L, Thunder and Lightning, we are going to feast. Let's hope so. Brent, yeah, Stephanie, when and where is your match? I want to say, like, I don't remember the date or anything like that, but I want to say she said in Vegas, and I'm pretty sure she said July or August. I don't know. I'll let her divulge that. At least you tried, JDC. Too true. Till the hunt, morning all. Henry Moore, thanks, my friend. Now to find my glasses. All right, get them found, get them found. JDC, Johnny L, true that. Jedi Sith, woo, and same to you. Bo, you did it, Henry. Congratulations. Mary Smith, good morning, everybody. And same to you, Mary. Always a pleasure to have you in the chat. Bo, JDC, the dove off the cliff and missed. Yeah, dove off the cliff and missed. It happens. It happens. JDC Hookadoo, for being a fat old guy, I bounced and rolled pretty impressively. Hey, you got to start with something, right? And what would I do without you all? Hey, I don't know, but I'm glad we all have the group here. Let's see, JK, we go into against the Ravens. I'll be scrutinized. Hey, we'll all get scrutinized. Let's see, Jennifer, good morning. And same to you, Jennifer. Bo, I do not know, Henry. Question mark. Michigan Panther Pride. Good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. And good to see you. Central Scrutinized. Greetings, salutations, Coach and Duke Crew. Woo! And good morning to you. Mega Beast. We're going to go 14-3, lose to Ravens, Bucks, and Green Bay. My prediction. Let's hope we don't. Hey, I'm hoping we go undefeated this year. Henry Moore is laughing. Hookadoo, on a scale from 1 to 10, JDC, I'm sure it was a 10. Laughing out loud. Hey, 10 for effort, right? JDC, Henry Moore, your life would have some sanity without Lions Talk Live. This could be accurate. JK, 2-0 is a must if that's the case. I'll take 2-0 all the time. Rocky, good morning, Coach. Good morning, all. Good morning to you, Coach. Trim Reaper, I'm in a glass cage of emotions. Hey, try to fight your way out of the emotions. And the cage. Hookadoo, I'm going to a 14-3 also. Lions roar, exclamation point. 14-3, that'd be a great season. Brent, 7-10, wild card and Super Bowl would be fine with me. Hey, I don't care what the record is. I think we all agree. If we get to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, we're all going to only focus on that. See, Carry Mega Beast 32. I agree, 14-3, but no loss to Packers. Let's hope not. Let's see, Mike the Marine Gunny. Howdy, Danny Duke Crew. Happy Friday. Woo! And I'm guessing Professor Steele maybe isn't in the house today, so it happens. Maybe he's got something going on teaching. The Trim Reaper, 11-6 is my guess. I'll go with that. JK, whatever it takes to make a Super Bowl is everything else. Yeah, I'm down with that. Pierce, 11-6 now for me. Okay. JDC, from the deep end of the pool, Lions 17-0. Go Lions. I love the way you're thinking. Hookadoo, the magic word, Brent, Super Bowl. Oh, yeah. Exclamation point. Oh, I'm cool with that. Let's get to the Super Bowl. Carrie, Coach, did you see we were playing Rodgers? Yes, I did see Aaron Rodgers sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hey, good for him. Keeping the career going one more year. Maybe two. Let's see. KJ, this is it. 17-0 Super Bowl champs. Move over Miami. I like the way you're thinking. And, man, I will feel bad for, when we win the Super Bowl this year, I'll feel horrible for Ragnar because he's going to be sitting there watching it either on the field or up in the stands or home with the wife and kids and TV and going, man, I could have went one more season or something like that. But I would legitimately think his body just said, no mas. Trim River, it's looking like rain here. Thanks, Davenport. Blame it on Davenport. Trim River, you're learning. There you go, says Pierce. Great day. If you had to pick one because money won't allow both, who would you have, St. Brown or J-Mo? Ooh, man. I guess just because we've already got him under contract, I go with St. Brown. But Jameson Williams, man, you cannot teach what he does. I mean, you could argue you can't teach who St. Brown is because a lot of what he gets done is because of his mental wherewithal. He was great at USC, all that stuff. But let's be fair. I think a lot of his work habit, that's something you can't teach. If there's one thing I've learned from studying different people in history, I'll use Ray Kroc as an example. If you guys don't know who that is, that's the guy who basically founded McDonald's. He was 52 years old, milkshake guy, selling milkshake mixers and everything, ready to retire when he discovered the McDonald's franchise and kind of ascended that to what we all know. But the point is, he just never gave up trying to make something of himself. A lot of people didn't think he would ever, amount to much or whatever, however you want to word it. And then he hit that one that was right. Some of his stuff might have been shady, but I think when you look at St. Brown, he got a lot of things done just because he kept willing himself forward, willing himself to get better. Let's face it, he's not the fastest dude out there. He's not the biggest dude. He's not the strongest dude. He just gets it all done. Jameson Williams is athletically blessed, and he is now learning to kind of grind and do some things that I've mentioned it before on the show. I really think his college coaching staffs did him injustice. I don't think they ever taught him much mechanics. And that's probably why it's taking him a little time to develop in the NFL. Trim Reaper laughing. Bo Booth, DDI Trim. Davenport did it. Ooh, there you go. JDC, at least it's not snow trip. This is true. Central Shoot, as long as the Lions make the playoffs, it's all good. A three-peat division championship would be nice, but it's not the most important thing. No, winning the championship, the Super Bowl, that is the most important thing. Side note, I had something pop up on Facebook memories yesterday. I'd kind of forgotten about this. Did you realize and I don't have it in front of me, so if I'm somewhat wrong, please forgive me. The Lions are the 12th winningest franchise, or was it 20th winningest franchise, something like that, 12th or 20th winningest franchise in the NFL when it comes to championships. So if it's 12th, then hey, there's 20 other teams that, even though the Lions haven't won a championship since the 50s, still haven't caught up to how good the Lions are. How about that? JK Trim, I read that, the sad music playing. Hey, music happens for sure. Brent, St. Brown for sure. I'll go with that. Michael, seems like everybody thinks Detroit Lions are in another total rebuild because of a few players and coaches leaving the team. Exclamation point. Well, they are not. I agree with that. I think they're underselling what we are going to be this year. The Trim Reaper, I thought Diddy did it. He may have did it. Apparently he has. That I'll have to ask Jen. And yes, the dogs are proving that Diddy did it, I guess. Hookadoo. Trim, you hit the nail on the head. I'm down with that. JK, Rodgers will be injured and retired before Lions face Steelers. He old. He is, man, and he might get beat up there. Pierce, Hookadoo, nature crisis at Davenport injuries. All right. Trim Reaper, hammer time. Hey, stop, hammer time. Kerry, Kirby gets to pick off Rodgers again. Maybe he'll get his final ever pass in the NFL and make it a pick. JK, if Rodgers does exit that week, Kirby retires him for good. Maybe true. Exists that week. Okay, Hookadoo, are you sure it's not Mother Nature laughing at him, Pierce? One never knows, do they? Johnny L, see y'all tomorrow morning. Peace out for now. We'll see you then, my friend. Have a great day. Pierce, Hookadoo, great point. Let's see. JK, bye, Johnny. Okay. Kurt Seal, I need the link. It's in your Facebook. I sent it to your Facebook because you said you don't get it on, what do you call it? Twitter. So, yeah, I sent it to you this morning via your Facebook Messenger. So it should be in there. I'll check it real quick. And not working, he says. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can send Professor Steele another one, just like the other one. All right, there you go, Professor Steele. Now you have another link. So let's see if that one works for you. All right, Kurt Steele is laughing. Trim Reaper, Malanta. There you go. Kurt, Brent, the cheeseheads are saying that we'll be soft up the middle now. Question mark. Mahogany and Ratledge don't look soft to me. Oh, yeah. No, I agree. I think they'll be those two guys, and I know I've talked about it a ton. I think those two have a lot of power and mass, let alone some athleticism. We'll see what happens, during the preseason. I don't want to overhype it now, but from a coaching standpoint, I love all the opportunities in fronted for us. So still not working. Send on X. Kurt, I send it on X as well, and when it go through to you. So doing all I can to get you the link, my friend. I'll try one more time, live and on air. Let's see if it will work this time. I kept sending it to you on X, and it, like you were telling me before, it just wouldn't go through. It just sent it again. It looks like this time it did go through. So check on X. All right, JK, vanilla flavored trim. We'll find out. Trim Reaper. Good morning, Professor Steele. Trim Reaper is laughing. JDC Puff. Woo, coffee and Lions Talk Live. JK, MCDC had to say something. He didn't have to say something. He said a lot of things. Here's, so did Davenport infect Rodrigo? DTI. Maybe true. Davenport did it. Yes, indeed. Trim Reaper. It's all in the hips. I feel like I know that from somewhere. Rocky. Frank's a gamer. Won't be surprised at all if he comes back sometime. Maybe he does, man. Let's see what shakes out. Gary, Brent DeWitt. Let them try to move our 300 plus Colleen. There we go. DM5, get Anzoni his money. I wonder what's happening there. I mean, MCDC was not very non-committal on anything regarding that. Pierce, Scary, our cover, our performance model, Tesla. There we go. See, Brent, salute, Kurt, Man of Steel. Hey, the Hitman is always watching somewhere. Hookadoo. He is like a bad cold, Pierce. He's contagious. All right. Let's see, JK. The BSD air quality is Davenport's fault. Yeah, it could be. Bad quality. I'll go with that. All right, Kurt Steele, send a message. Hold on, guys. Still not working. Send on X. Man, I've sent it everywhere I can, man. I've sent it on X. I've sent it on, not working. Talk to you guys at 8. Okay. All right, Kurt Steele is going to, can't get him the link that apparently works, so I guess he'll catch you guys up at 8 o'clock at the Boss Up, Ball Out podcast. All right, let's see. Until then, as long as we have Davenport, we have a chance at a Super Bowl. I like the way you're thinking. Pierce, JK, it is laughing out loud, JK. DM5, Davenport, 15 sacks. Hey, let's go with 15 sacks in the first 5 games. Motor City, Mr. Detroit City, good morning all. Same to you. Smash the like button. Smash the like, smash subscribe, smash them all. Michael, hiking the ball and blocking shouldn't be hard to replace from Ragnar retiring. G's, laughing out loud. We'll find out. JK, Davenport gives me 15 push-ups. Hey, you got to start with that. Gary, Pierce, Sargent, and I don't think Jamarco Jones is soft. No, I would really like Jamarco Jones. I don't know if he's going to make it here or not. We're going to have to wait and see, but I like him personally. Pierce, JK, Davenport, 15 military fun runs. Okay. DM5, any chance Ragnar reconsiders before the season? I mean, it's possible, right? But I don't know. I think you'd want to be really committed and not just, kind of wishy-washy. My anticipation is he probably spent some legitimate time, a month or two, trying to get the body right, get that feel, got to OTAs, was like, man, I just can't do it. All right, Gary, JK laughing. JDC, Magic 8 Ball says Davenport may or may not have anything to do with anything. So stay tuned to Coach Dan Pierce and Lions Talk Live for more updates. Go Lions, exclamation point. I'm down with that, and thank you for that. JK, yes, sir, yes, exclamation point, laughing. Let's see, Thomas, good morning. Dan Dooku, let's go Lions. I love the way you're thinking. Trim Reaper, the best part of waking up is LTL and some dew in your cup. Oh, yeah, with some exclamation points. I'm down with that. Who doesn't like dew in the cup? Vernon, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Coach, how will our defense look without Anzalone and Campbell? I think Campbell will be out there. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Anzalone, if he's not out there, it will be different. And he will have to find a linebacker that can at least somewhat simulate what he does. I think replicating what Anzalone does against the run game, you got guys that can do that. It's what he does in getting past defense that I think is the tougher part to replicate. There's just not a lot of linebackers that can cover the way Alex Anzalone can. And do you have somebody on staff that can do it? I would have said Rodrigo, but as we all now know, Rodrigo might not be back until way late in the season. We'll have to wait and see what shakes out. It's a great opportunity for somebody else to emerge, though. That's the positive Pete in me. Pierce, JDC, laughing out loud. That had me laughing. Thomas, Gab going on with 2,000 yards this year. Yeah, Gibbs, yes. I'd be okay with that, I think, Thomas. JDC, Duke Crew, hey, and back at you. Attila the Hun, where is Campbell going? Nowhere that I'm aware of. Thomas, Gibbs going to run for 2,000 yards this year? I hope so. Jennifer, center for the Panthers, 27 years old, 304 pounds, 6'5". I'm not even going to try that name. Lots of NFL experience. Also, we'll see if they bring him on in. Kerry, Thomas Bates, agreed. JDC, it is shameful plug for Lions Talk Live. Hey, thank you very much for that shameful plug. DM5 TV, Gibbs, 2,170 yards. Man, that would be a season. JDC, go Lions, go Tigers, go everywhere. Thomas, James Williams is going to have a great year. Go Lions. I love it indeed. Kerry, Colleen, or however you pronounce his name, if it's not Colin, 304 pounds. Yes, correct. Michigan Panther Pride, Duke Crew, how would you feel if the Panthers bring a championship home before the Lions? Good for them, man. You just like the Arena football team. I don't remember the Detroit Arena football team, but they won multiple championships. They were a dynasty. And the UFL Panthers back in the 80s, it was the 80s, they won a championship. So there have been champions, world champs, whatever you want to call it, in professional football in Detroit outside the lines. Term Reaper, I believe Reed will outplay what CD3 did last year. Yeah, could be indeed. Non-Levers, didn't DC say that want Rake on the outside? Could be. Yeah, he did mention him there, did mention him at the slot or the nickel, however you want to call it. Exit 8, Gibbs will have 1,500, 1,700 yards unless Monty is injured. Yeah, Monty gets injured. And if you agree to give Gibbs more of a workload, I think he could put up some video game type numbers. Just going to need that depth given the gauntlet of the schedule this year. The bye doesn't come at a great time, though. It does come at a great time. Yeah. Let's not also forget the Lions still more or less, I want to say, have two other late in the season 10-day windows or buys, mini buys, however you want to term it. Non-laughers, didn't DC say right now that want Rake on the outside? I do think he mentioned something about that. Coach Rock, talk about the defensive backs. Any word on Rock? Didn't hear his name at all. Thought he was a good guy to pick up. I think he's going to be pretty good for depth. I don't know if he's going to challenge one of the top 4 or 5 guys, but wait and see. Jess, if he really won't be missed, he was never on the field anyways. That is true. If you're never on the field, you can't really produce. Pierce, outside corners, Reed, Arnold, Nickel, Robertson, Branch at safety. Okay. Thomas, I watched the Jay Brown podcast with. Okay. Mr. Detroit City, I personally wouldn't mind signing Asante Samuel Jr. still. Maybe they will. Hookadoo, go Lions, go Tigers, skip the Bears. I will say skip them. Trim Reaper, if Gibbs gives 40 or more touches, we'll break 2,000 yards from the scrimmage. All right, I'm down with that. Thomas, seeing a podcast with Steve Brown and Slay from the Lions. How about a woo for Slay? Still, he's still a Lion lover. He does love it here. He's gone on lots of different times, Darius Slay, and talked very kindly about the fans here, the organization, etc. Obviously, he had his beef with the former coach and GM. Michigan Panther Brian, Professor Steele, and Coach Dan, what a morning. Hey, it is. Unfortunately, won't get Steele on today, it sounds like. JDC Bears, the Monsters of the Midway. I'll go with that. Michigan Panther Pride, skip the Bears, FTP2. All right. Skip the Bears, says Brent. Thomas, how about a shout out to Slade, ? Our ex-line that still loves us. Yeah, I would love to have had him back, but obviously that didn't work out. Pierce, JDC, has Benedict found his shade of nail polish? We'll find out. Michigan Panthers, skip the Stallions. How about that? Jess, I think the snap count will really be important as the team navigates long season. Yeah, you want to keep guys as fresh as possible. That's why I really like the depth we have at multiple different spots. You can afford to keep players fresher. Silver Server, good morning, Coach. Anyone? Same to you, Kerry. Michigan Panther Pride, agreed. Brent, bend over Johnson doesn't like the tush push. Ooh, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Cerebral, what do you? Hello? Hey, hello to you, Cerebral Palsy. Yeah, I got to get back to you. I'll get back to you later today. Michigan Panther Pride, but he does like nail polish. All right. JK, pitch weather. All right. Hookadoo, laughing out. Brent, that's funny. We'll go with it. It's very funny. JDC, Pierce, I'll say it. Nail polish shows the NFL character. Players like I don't wear any. All right. Kerry, Brett DeWitt, it's kind of not good. Link not working. Resend. Yeah, I resend it everywhere I could, man. The only thing I could do is maybe text it to you. Michigan Panther Pride, time for the professor. Nobody wants to see this body in a Speedo. I'll go with that. Henry, Miles Marker, Hookadoo, good morning. Bad news about Indian River Lions Camp. Audience is for enrolled kids, family only. Sigh. All right. Thomas, Kurt still said your link isn't working. Resend it. Yeah, I've resent it everywhere I can, man. Black J.R. Jones, too many comments, not enough likes. Hit that like and subscribe button. One pride. Woo! Thank you for that, Black J.R. Jones. Thank you very much. JC, Henry Moore, laughing out loud. Hookadoo. Morning, Miles Moore. Boo! All right. Let's see. JK Kurt, that isn't good. I'll go with that. Brent, morning, MM. JDC, tick, tick, tick. It's woo time. There you go. Exclamation point. Miles Marker, good morning. Brent DeWitt. Miles Marker, yeah, they made me feel like some sort of creep for even asking. All right. It happens, man. Michigan Panther Pride, good morning. Miles Marker, JDC, Brent, and Hookadoo. See, Chad Lakem, golf is the key to winning. His footwork needs to improve drastically, and some of his decisions making on 3rd and 45. And okay, Miles Mark, good morning, Michigan Panther Pride. JDC, Michigan Panther Pride, good morning at you. Hookadoo, good morning. Lauren, Grit wins. Shav, 2 more years of not winning Super Bowls, and Campbell will be fired. Well, maybe we'll find out. JK, Cold Brew, there we go. Kurt, I'm here. Link isn't working. Yep, I'm doing all I can to get it to you, man. So solid show, solid host. Thank you for that. Thank you very much for that. JDC, Shaft duly noted. Thanks for the info. Miles Marker, bum, Kurt Steele. Yeah, bummer. Yeah, I've sent it to Facebook. I've sent it to Twitter. I've sent it everywhere I know to send it. Brent, bummer, Kurt. Let's see, Chuck. I think we will beat the Commanders and the Ravens. Revenge! Exclamation point. Not sure about the Eagles or Chiefs. Take it as a 15-2 again. NFC North champs and Super Bowl bound. Woo! Wouldn't that be some? Trim Reaper, resend the link to Kurt, Coach Dan. Yeah, I've sent it to him a few different times. See, JK McDowell's. There you go. JDC, getting real in the D. Go Lions. Hassani Madley. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Good morning to you. Well, good morning, good afternoon to you, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, Miles Barr. Good morning, Hassani Madley. One pride worldwide, 100%. The pride for the Lions really has gone worldwide. Bo, good morning, and to Carol, Mr. Madley. There you go. Hookadoo, top of the morning, Mr. Hassanin, exclamation point, go Lions roar. Coach Tanya Kate, Grand Rising crew, exclamation point, came late, got to catch up with the convo. Hey, catch on up, be a part of it, and thank you as always for being here. Trim Reaper, it's probably Davenport making Kurt's link not work. Ooh, insider information. Miles Mark, good morning, Coach Tanya Kate. Grip wins out 100%. I like the way you're thinking. Michael, Aaron Rodgers, how good will a 41-year-old be playing against guys pretty much half his age? We'll find out, but the quarterback position is probably that. The kicker and the punter are probably spots where guys could get away with it. Kurt Steele, not working still. Talk to you guys at 8 on the Boss Up Ball Out. There you go. Michigan Panthers, see you then, Professor. Good morning, Madley. See Miles Barker, see you at 8. Kurt Steele, Trim River, Davenport, Sabotage, Lions Talk Live. Hey, he's working overtime here at Davenport. Larry, Lions 2025, 14 wins, 3 losses, and Super Bowl 1. I love it. I love it indeed. Let's get 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Everyone hit hit that like button. We'll go with that. And thank you for that, Black J.R. Jones. JDC, I ain't scared. Go Lions. Exclamation point. Dominic from Texas. Good morning from Texas. Hey, good to see you, my friend. It's been a hot second since I've seen you. Hopefully you're having a good time down in Texas. Don't mess with Texas. Texas Steel Beer. Trim Reaper, see you soon, Professor Steele. Hookadoo, did you ban Kurt, Dan? No, I didn't, man. I like I said, man, I sent him the link multiple times on both Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and then Facebook. For whatever reason, it's just not working for him. Silver Server, Campbell's words seem to indicate they want to try Tate at center this season, or was he trying to sway the reporters? Question mark, go figure. Yeah, both could be true, so we're going to have to wait and see, Surfer. Right, Damn Hurt stole the link. Ooh, and there you go. JDC, happy trails, go Lions victory. We'll see you next time. JDC, sit high in the saddle, fellow Lions Talk Livers. I love the way you're thinking. Bo, happy trails, Duke Crew, all done and dusted. See you later. We'll see you then. Silver Surfer, I think Campbell has the audacity to try something on the offense line like youth and athletic ability. Too bad did not mention Manu at guard. No, we'll have to wait and see where they play anybody. Trim Reaper, have a great day, Coach and Duke Crew. Woo! Hey, there you go. Carrie, happy trails. Have a great Friday. Stay safe. Everybody have a great, safe day. Silver, I think Ty League's hamstring was not that small of a pull. Everybody said it was. they will be careful. Yeah, they're just, in my personal opinion, I think they're just doing everything they can to try to make it right as rain. Let's see, Miles Myers, Cerebral Policy Gamer. Good morning, Jay. Hey, there we go. Yeah, I got to get a hold of him because he apparently he wants to talk a little football. Mr. Detroit City, check out the Hats and Beard Show. Yeah, I think you've mentioned that before sometime. Local show, good dude. I will check it out. A Silver Surfer, if everybody's healthy, DJ Reed will start without question. Okay. Any more? Have a great day, Coach! Exclamation point! And everyone, be blessed. Be blessed, my friend. JK, bye, bro. Or bro, bye. How about all that? All right, guys. If there is breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as soon as possible. If you would be so kind before checking out, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Have a great day. Do something kind for someone you don't know. Be a good human being. And we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Happy trail.